Hello, my beautiful friends. It's Marta here. Welcome back. As I've promised you, once we create this beautiful paper roses, I will be coming back to create some sort of the greenery for it. Now, today I'm having something special because I have not one, but 5 different types of the leaves, which we'll go over now. And what is more fun, I think, we are not going to be using any dice. Of course, if you have, let me just quickly show you. Oh, I'm not prepared. Where do I have these? Oh, here. So if you have, and this is just example, I'm not promoting any brand, any company, but if you have leafy dye, that's fine. If you've got something like that, if you've got something like that, it's okay. You can also use your die cut pieces, die cut foliage, and kind of build up your leaf in exactly the same way. But what I want to show you is that even if you don't have lots of different type of the dies, or not even on die cutting machine, you'll still be able to create this professionally looking leaves. And what I've prepared is 5 different types of them. I have those like a crinkly one. I'll just quickly, let me just grab a piece of the card. Oh, this will be hopefully way better visible. So we've got those like a crinkly one, which are looking like a nettle leaf. And then I will teach you how to create those curly one with this line. I'll show you everything in a second. Now the roses one, and I think these ones are my favorite. They are a very nice shape one, and they just look beautiful with all types of the roses. Then I have this smaller crinkly one, and each one of them you shape slightly different, so I will go over everything with you. And then we have this beautiful double leaf, which I think is just looking nice on as addition to the flower. What we're gonna need now, I have my container with water here, so I'll be using the green solution. I also have this mixing palette. Let me just quickly show you that. And this is actually a plastic egg plate which I've bought in a supermarket, and that was super cheap. It's way cheaper than a professional mixing palette, and it's working exactly the same. This time I'm prepared. I've got container with water. I've got a spray bottle as well, which I'm gonna be using. And for the tools, you don't really need anything specific. And also you can use up some inks, sprays, whatever you have, and even like a kid's paints as well. This is also gonna be good. You can dilute them with water, create kind of a green color solution, and you'll be good to go. And these are available in any supermarket, so not really any specialty crafty gear or equipment is needed. And I have my watercolor palette here. One is missing. Where is it? Oh, it's stuck to the tissue. Never mind. But I've got it here. And now scissors, pencil, tweezers, preferably with this long bit because it's very handy for curling. And we're gonna need a little shaping tool with kind of like a tiny ball, or just like a point. But if you don't have the tool like that, what you really need is just the old pen, which is no longer writing. Mine is writing, but if you've got the pen which stop writing and it has this ball point, that will be great for shaping too. That's all we really need. I'm gonna use the heating tool to speed up the process, but it's not necessary. So let's jump into our leaf making video, because I don't want it to be too overly long, so I'm not holding you. Now I'm holding here scoring board because what I like to do before I'm gonna be creating the foliage, usually when you have a die, you can check, oh, this one is too large. For example, if I would have like flowers like that, I can say, oh, this one's too large, I need something smaller, and then I'm just picking one smaller. But if you don't have any dies, this is what I like to do, is to kind of place my flower on the scoring board, and I can see, or you can take a ruler as well. It's just I usually work with the scoring board because I find it like quite just handy. But either way. So it's 2 inches, so I like to create my leaf the same size as flower or a little bit longer. So if I've got the flower which has like diameter of 2 inches, I would preferably cut my my leaves at 2 inches or 2.5. And you may think that 2.5 will be too large, but remember that when we shape them, they will kind of go up, curl up, and they will hide a little bit behind the flower. So if you can see here, this is like 2.5 inch. So just to show you that, you know, this is a good to kind of let yourself know like what is the sizes of my flower, what type of the and size of the leaves I will need. So if I'll establish that, I'm gonna need, and of course one last thing I forgot to say, we need some paper, guys. We cannot do flowers without the papers. I'm using watercolor paper, and I do find it that this is the best for the technique. Like watercolor paper, when you work with the water medium, spray inks, things like that, the watercolor paper is your friend here. But it doesn't have to be expensive. Many stores, they offer very cheaply. This is not a professional grade. It's probably, you know, someone who is professional watercolor artist would say, oh, this paper is crap. It's maybe crap for or maybe not crap, they would not call it crap, but they would say like, oh, it's not the best quality. It may not be the best quality for painting, but we are not creating a masterpiece here. Well, actually we are, but it's not gonna be the painting. We're just gonna be creating leaves. Now I'm gonna cut it into half. I'll use it anyway. So now, as we establish, we would like to keep our papers leaves at 2.5 inch, 2 inches, make a little bit smaller, and then maybe 1 inch. I think 3 different sizes here I have, and maybe 1.25. Okay, so that'll be nice size. So I like to cut my papers into the strips because this will make the whole job easier. It's so much easier to stick to the size when you have when you're working on a strip of the paper. And now for those of you who are kind of you know, already have a little bit experience, you can start straight away and then just create leaves like that. But if you feel like oh, I don't know like how to cut it, like I cannot, you know, imagine that, just take a pencil and then just kind of you know, sketch some leaves like that. This will help you out. And don't worry, you can always try to cut inside the pencil mark, so it's not gonna be visible. Plus, if you are using a very soft pencil, which is like very easy for you know, shadowing, and it's just very easy to smudge, once you place your leaf in the water, this will just you know, dissolve, and it's not gonna be as visible. But I like my leaves to kind of cut them just like under the angle, and that way they're kind of each of them is similar shape. And don't worry that this end is like it's gonna be like very visible here. It's not fully. This will be, the part will be hide anyway. By not closing the leaf fully, it will give you a little bit more extra width to work on. Now, next flower, which I want to show you, is this kind of a larger one shape. So you just work on the bigger scale. And what I like to do for the flowers like that, I like to create a little pointy shape, like they're kind of like a go up, so they have this nice pointy shape. And it's just really a matter of you know, creating this curvy line, and just like that. So we've got that, and then they could be pointing in one side, so you can take one point, and you can see here that this leaf is kind of curling up this way. So that will be fine. Now another thing which I really like to do, and I think they look up very pretty with the roses, is to have this join leaf. So I'm kind of sketching 2 leaves together, one larger, one smaller, and then on the other side just something like that. They could be different orientation, so this side smaller, this size larger. They don't have to be identical. And again, just curl them, cut them up just like that, and it doesn't really take you much time. And thing is, here I am chatting today, like trying to show you different things, but when you take a hold of the leaves, like you know, you will kind of how to say that, you will get a hang of it. You can just sit down, cut yourself a strips and cut those like little leaves when watching some TV series or something, or watching some tutorials, including mine, please. I would love if you could see a couple of my videos. Grab yourself a cup of coffee and just enjoy, and this is very, very relaxing. So we've got this, we've got that. Now one thing also you can do, and this is especially when you're cutting the larger leaves, you can cut your line kind of a wavy pattern, and this is also something which is looking super fabulous. And then you just cut this wavy design, and they kind of under the angle just like that, and you're trying to keep the leaf shape but creating this fancy edge. And as I'm saying, this is so super easy. You don't really need any specific tool for that. You just really need to create a couple of the fancy shape. And if you're not feeling comfortable with the with your cutting skills, like you think like, oh, I couldn't cut it just off the free hand, here is the tip what you can do to help yourself create the leaves, like kind of a some sort of a stencil. Now grab yourself a piece of the cardboard, and for me this is, I'll show you where do I have it. This is just oops, back page of the pad. I've just cut off a little bit so I could use it up, but that could be any packaging. If you've got the box, cardboard, pizza box, cereal box, whatever, just use it up. And what you can do, you can actually kind of create nice shapes, leaves, for example, something like that, and then again like that, then maybe something. And this is really up to your imagination. You create this mask dependingly of what would you like your leaf to look like, and you can experiment. And even if you think like, oh, I have zero skill, just try it. It's so super easy, and it's so satisfying, because once you create your own elements, it will really kind of make you feel more accomplished. I'm trying to find the proper word, but whenever I am creating something, and you can create this little extra bit at the end, which I really, most of the time, I just not bother with it, because it's gonna be covered up anyway. And then again, something like that, which is similar to the idea I've already showed you. So just like that. And now once you have your piece of the paper, you just go and then just draw them around, and this is gonna be super fun, super easy. And I should take a bigger size of the paper, but I just want to show you that by kind of creating yourself the stencil, you also will be able to just create, mass produce kind of leaves, which will be very nicely looking. Let me just cut these ones, and here we go, just like that. And as I'm saying, you don't have to really precisely follow the pencil mark. they're not gonna be visible anyway later on. So we've got maybe five different categories. They all look similar, so even if you cut the same size, same pieces of the leaves, you'll be able to give them a little bit different look by shaping them differently. Now I have my solution here, but one thing, when I added this green alcohol ink, this I don't know if you can see it, but it has this kind of a bluish you know, undertone to this paint. So I'm just gonna leave one leaf here because I want my leaves to create slightly like a spring vibe. So what I'm gonna do, I will firstly wet them up here just to give them a little bit. This will be also like a mini bath for my leaves, just making sure that these are just wet nicely. Now I'm taking my egg piece and I already have some paint. So what you really need, if you've got something like that, just pour a little bit of the water here and then add either some dash of the ink spray or some paint. Like not everyone is having distress inks or things like that. Just kind of grab a little bit of the paint, any paint will do here, just mix it up and dilute it with water, and you've got ready-made solution for your pieces. And as I've told you in the flower making video, this was way too much water I had in my containers, so this time I am kind of creating myself little solutions. Is that all the leaves? I'm just wondering. So now I am soaking them in the water, but with very little, like they kind of stay on this palette and they still soaking up the moisture. And once you want them to be a little bit, and this is watercolors, so they will wash up from my hands very easily, but you can also wear some protective gloves or something if you don't like them to be, you know, too. And let me just add a little bit extra more green as well, so they will have the chance to kind of get the color. Soak this one up, and I think we are ready here now. So what I'm gonna do now, I'm gonna place this slightly aside. Let me just put my lovely flowers away. And now we need a piece of the paper towel or kitchen towel. If you've got the reusable, you can also use this one. And what I'm gonna do, of course, I'm going to take out my leaves here. And again, I am trying to keep a little bit of the color in, and you can see how bluish they are. But this is because I add the alcohol ink there, and I thought it will be more green, but it's not as green as I thought. Now I will place this one, and I'm gonna try to pair them up so it will be easy for me to kind of know which one for shaping will be which is which. Okay, 1, 2, this one here, just so I could show you different shaping techniques with them. Okay, this one's nice, this one's got a lot of the color. And now if you think they are too pale, because to me they are looking like they're not having enough moisture, you can go back and grab some extra colors, and do not dilute it as much. Just grab a little bit of the water and then just kind of use some color to create the splatters, and the splatters will give them really nice texture as well. They will be looking way more natural. These ones having plenty water on them, so I just need a little piece of the paper to kind of help me get rid of the excessive moisture. Now if you would leave them like that, just sit them, go for a nice cup of coffee, or I don't know, just cook lunch or something, come back. I'm gonna take a sip of my coffee. These will soak up all the color. Just one thing, make sure, like, if you like them to be nicely covered, that they don't have, for example, they're not lying under the angle, so the ink is floating to one side, and then you come back and you've got pale leaf, and then just all the color run out to one side. So make sure they flatten up, and they will be way more colorful when you let them sink with all the color. I don't have as much time, so I'm just gonna gently dab them, so we're not gonna be waiting forever, but I'm gonna add some extra color with my brush. And by adding those splatters, you're really creating this beautiful, lovely color. Now make sure that you do a little bit of the same on the back, because as you can see, I put the wet leaves on the towel, and sometimes towel can also drink all the color from them. These ones, look, they have this kind of like a bluish color tone, so I'm just gonna very gently color them. Just add a couple of the splatters. You don't really need a lot. Oh, there's one more here hiding. Okay, and now you don't really need a lot, just a little bit something of the color. So when you raise them up, if you create like a, you know, a 3D projects or something, you will see the leaves from the back side, then definitely make sure that they nicely cover up in the color from both sides. But I really just want a little bit here, just a teeny tiny bit. Okay, now last couple bits, just like that. And you can kind of create different color tone, like if you want something more yellowish as well, then create something more yellowish tone. Okay, I think this one will be good. Now what I'm gonna do, I will gently put them back on the back side, or you can start from the back side and then turn them around to the front side and then just work on it. Either way, doesn't really matter. We're just making sure we have them kind of lying on a towel for a little bit, so they are wet but they're not soaking wet, so they're not gonna tear. And you can kind of create a little bit, what am I saying, you can check if this is the side which I like more, or that one, or whatever. Now shaping time. Okay, once they still wet, they cannot be, I don't know if the camera will pick it up, here is a water, that's too wet. But here, if you dab with the leaf, it's no longer as shiny, it's still wet, but this is the good, this is what we want. Okay, now I have first two leaves, and this is what I'm gonna do. I'm taking my tool or old pen if you don't have the tool, and now what I will do, whoops, my finger dabber just fell down. Now you're taking your leaf and decide which one side up, and starting from the very point, you kind of draw the line across the leaf, and that could be wavy line, that could be straight line, just across the leaf. Press a little bit, not too hard, because you don't want to create the hole in your leaf, and you just create the line. And once you finish with line, you create this type of the veins, like diagonally towards the center of the leaf, and then you can turn around and match them up so they kind of comes together in pairs, or they don't have to. All depends from your imagination. Will this be better visible here on a cardstock? So we've got the lovely veins, and that's all we do for now. Now next one, here I am creating the veins just like that, and they could be closer to each other, they could have a little bit more distance. You can create 3, 5 per leaves, it doesn't matter, but try to stick to one of the styles. Now this one, okay, is it dry? Perfect. For these ones, what I'm gonna do, I will place my my sketching tool, and I'm just gonna create the line across the leaf. So it's just gonna be one straight line within the leaf, and dependingly which side you like. Or I've put this one, so I'm gonna use that one. And don't worry if it's too pale, we're gonna add a little bit extra ink in here later on. So I've got the line. Now this one, again, I'm gonna be creating something similar. Quick line, and then 1 and 2 leaves, just the 2 bits. Same like with wavy one, but way less vines, vines, not wines. We don't drink wine here. So 2 lines. Now for the little one, so that's gonna be my little. What I'm gonna do, I will take my shaping tool, and this time I'm not gonna go across, but what I will do, I will gently try to create the line on the edge, like 1 millimeter away from the edge, and I'm kind of pressing, and then you can kind of squish it 2-3 places, just like that. There we go, and we've got this border all around. And this is very little change, like in between them, but once they all dry, they will have slightly different look. And obviously you can also create a variation of the look. Oh, look on that, that's even better visible, like have this nice edges. And you can create more variation on your greenery element if you will color them with different mediums, like some of them, because I've created them pretty much similar color because I was using the same paints. But if you create some of them with more olive shades, with more dark green, like emerald color, they will be also looking very differently dependingly which color you will you know, color them. And this spongy here, this is my corkboard. Just a quick reminder, or maybe just letting know the friends who are seeing it for the first time, this is just this office corkboard which has this spongy element on the back side, and I think this is the best shaping mat I ever had. And this is super cheap, because I've paid, I think it was well, it was a few years ago, so the prices may be dearer now, but I actually think I found this cork boards and they were on reduced to sale section, and I think I've paid like £1.50 per like a whole big cork board. And as you can see, I use my guillotine and I just cut them into smaller sizes. Now the last one, what am I gonna do with last one? I'm also gonna take a line and I'll just leave it just like that. So whoops, and here I have a little tear, and I'm glad I did that, because this is just a reminder for everyone. If you press too hard, you can create the hole, but don't worry, don't throw it away. We're gonna mask it. It's gonna be hardly visible anyway. Now, because I'm impatient, I will take my my tray, and it's good to have some sort of a container, so it will prevent your leaves from going everywhere. You can also put them in a jar and you know, just use the heat gun tool. I'm gonna blow the hot air so they will dry out quicker. But if you don't have hot heat tool, or you don't want to use it, just grab yourself a few minutes break and come back and they'll be bone dry. So for the next step, you just have to dry them out. And this is kind of a similar process to the one with the flowers. We were also creating some shaping a little bit once they were wet, and then we will dry them up. Okay, So I'm just blowing a little bit, and container, because once they wet they stay in place, but when they dry they kind of start escaping, so it's good to have some sort of a border. And when they curl up, don't worry, it sleeves, we will curl them up even more. Okay, so a little bit more. So when you start feeling they are becoming stiff, that's when they're ready. A little bit more, and okay, we've got it. So now I'm gonna take them up, I'm gonna pair them back again, and this one and that one. Now what else we gonna do? This is optional, but I think it's just looking way better, is when you use some sort of the ink, and it doesn't have to be oxide, it could be like a regular inks, things like that. I have those like Memento, I'm saying any archival ink, whatever you have. Basically it's just to add some additional layer of color here. So I'm taking my my finger dabber, and then I'm just going over the edges, and by doing this quick step, I will show you that in a second, and this will enhance your line. But look how much depth this leaf is getting just by simply adding some color to the edges. Now think about the finger dabbers. For many years, until I actually received this one, this box. I like it because it's in a case, but for many years I was using my own handmade finger dabbers. And just a quick letting you know, I went to the hardware store, and this is some tip I've seen like many years ago. I don't even know who was behind it, because it wasn't my original idea, to let you know. But I've seen it on a video, and then I went to the hardware store and I've bought this very thin like a PVC pipe, those plastic pipe, and it was exactly the same, like you know, just enough so I could stick my finger there. My husband took a cutter and he cut it into smaller sections just like that. And it was super simple. And then all you really need is just take a kitchen sponge, like the washing sponge, cut it into small pieces, then you kind of fold it like those little corners round, so you've got this type of the ball, and you place it in your PVC pipe. You need a little bit bigger so they kind of fit tight. You have to fit them tight, and then when you place your finger there, it prevents it from, you know, falling down, and you've got your very cheap, inexpensive finger dabbers. And this is what I was using for many years. For this one I'm gonna add a little bit of the color, and now even though we had the same base, we're kind of creating different look by getting this differentiation in the color. Now this one, just like that. Okay, and then maybe a little bit dark on the a little bit dark here, and you can create more visible border by less kind of here. I have more blend color towards the center, and here I am creating this sharp edge with the ink. So that's also something which will provide you a different finish. So I'm just merely touching the edge, and I am not blending it onto the inside part of the leaf. And this is also something which gives you different result. And again here a little bit dark one, and then this time I will go with the larger with the lighter one, more greenish color. And then if you like, you can create this kind of a ombre look, where you kind of add a little bit more color towards the towards the end, and a little bit more on the beginning, on the top part. Here we go. So we've got something like that, and a little bit just like that, and then darken them up on the end. So you've got two-tone leaf kind of a, you know, variation. And this little one just like that. And now, why did we bother by coloring them on wet once we are inking them? If you would start from the plain white cardstock and try to ink them, you will end up with white color peeking through all the nooks and crannies. So they will be kind of a white splottery, and this is something you can also try, see if this is the look you like. But I prefer when they are kind of initially colored. I think they're just looking a little bit, you know, a little bit nicer when they have this initially colored look. And here, just like that, just across. It doesn't really matter. Like, you can experiment, have fun, create all sorts of different things here. Now let's shape them. Oh no, one more thing. What I like to do with my leaves is that sometimes if I want to have some additional texture, what I like to use is to get some additional stamping. And I have this very old splotchy stamp, but you can use whatever you have. If you've got some stain effect or something, you can use them up. And this is what I like to do. You can sometimes go 2 different shades, like try it a little bit darker as well, and create lots of different splatters. And look on the how beautiful splotchy effect these leaves looks like. So I think it's just something nice. And then for this one, for a change, because I'm not going to be adding splashes to all of them because I want them to look differently, is I have this very old stamp. This was a gift on a card making magazine, and I cannot remember, it was Simply Cards and Papercraft, something like that. But I have it for so many years. I don't even clean it up properly now, and I'm just gonna stamp it. And by stamping it, I will give it a very nice texture. And sometimes you can have like a larger script. It's very nice effect when you've got some script looking through your leaves. It's just adding this additional interest. Now let's shape our flowers. Okay, I'm starting from the largest one, and now with this wavy one, what I like to do, I like to fold them in half, and then I'm kind of following the wavy line, just create this crinkly effect. I am just enhancing it. As you can see, I am kind of waving it in my fingers just like that. So this will enhance this effect, and look on the how beautifully this leaf is looking like. They just go to life. And if you want them to be like a little bit thicker, you just have to remember to cut them thicker, because with the shaping they will always go skinnier. Like if you look side by side, this one is kind of shrinking. So once we give them dimension, they kind of lose on the thickness. So something you have to remember, and then try to like kind of use your finger and then just go in between your fingers. So you're pushing one down and your thumb up, and then just curling up, and you go next bit and then just curl them up. And this will create you very nice elegant look. And you can do that with your die cutted pieces as well. You can cut your leaf, and then I've got a piece of wire here. Why? You can, you know, once you cut your paper, color them and do this the same look here. Okay, so we've got this one. Now this one, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna create like a rose style. So again, I am kind of gently folding them, and having this creasing line is really helping to give them this nice shape. But this time what I will do, I will take my my tweezers and I will roll over this edge, nothing else, just the edge. I am just holding it right here and I am just folding the edge. It's taken a little bit practice. First time you may feel like, oh, it's not working. It will. Just give it a little chance and then don't give up. It's a little bit harder here on a pointy tip, but once you get a hold of it, it's nice. And then you just fold just the edge, nothing else, just the edge, and this will create you this beautiful real life effect. And then you can kind of twist this little end and you've got beautiful raised edges, like fold edges, rose sleeve. So this one again, let me just put that second one, same process, just grab the whole edge border and then just twist it until it will curl up underneath. And you can experiment and curl them up the other way around as well, but then make sure that the back side it's also inked up, because usually the back side is getting a little bit lighter, unless you cut them from the colored cardstock. But it's very hard to buy the watercolor paper in colors. I don't think it's coming in a green shade, or maybe it is, I could be wrong, I don't know, but it's probably gonna be more expensive. And here again, I like to like kind of twist the end, and you've got this beautiful border which is round up. And when I place it next to my flower, that's just absolutely beautiful, perfect rose leaf, and it even has this little veins here. Now this one, I could cut it a little bit bigger, I can see now, for the thing I want to show you, but for this nettle piece, I cut them a little bit too small, but I still show you. Here what you do, you kind of create this zigzag fold on the edge, 1, 2, and you just follow the line and create the zigzag fold by gently squeezing the border. You can see here, just like that, and then you move to another side and then create the zigzag fold, 1, 2, it doesn't matter, it doesn't have to be equal amount of the zigzags on each side, but once you fold your leaf, it will create you this nettle effect. And you can enhance it even more by actually cutting it slightly zigzag way, but I just find that it's too much hassle with cutting all those like little bits. But once you kind of crease it properly, it will give you the same similar look. So we just do zigzag zigzag fold and follow it on, one next to another one, and maybe try to do a little one on the top. And look on that, it's beautiful nettle shape. I wish I could cut them a little bit bigger like that, but oh, it's fine. You can see clearly what I am doing. So here we go. Now let me know in a comment if you've been trying the paper flowers or any other flowers I was sharing with you in a video, and if you'd like to see more of the content like that. Here we have this last with the edges, and this is what we can do. We can just slightly just curl it up, and that will be looking great because you already have this border done. Or we can do something crazy and then just squeeze it, just roll it, ball it, just like that. And you'll say like, oh no, Marta, you're destroying it. Why would you, like, what are you doing? What are you doing here? But look on that, I am crinkling it, and now once I will open it up, I have this lovely crinkly look leaf. And this one is also a different way of creating the funny looking, you know, because some of the leaves, they are looking like very crinkly. So here we go. So we've got, so we're even end up with 6, and I have more ideas. I do have another ideas for additional foliage elements, so let me know if you would be interested in that. And look on that. Let me just put up a piece of the cardboard so you can see better. So we've got, and let me know in a comment which one is your favorite, which one you're more keen to try on. We've got this beautiful wavy line. I'm trying to put them with some flowers so you'll see how they present. And of course, once you kind of shape them nicely, if you glue them under the angle, they will be just looking nicer. So look on that. We've got these beautiful leaves like that. Now my favorite personally is this folded edge one. I think this is such a nice elegant look, and this one, no one can tell you that you know, you didn't use any professional gear. Look on that. We made the roses with the cut. Actually, I think this one is from the die cut piece, but let me see, do I have the one? I've probably used it up, or maybe, I don't know, this one or that one of them. Oh, I think this one was used up with my own pieces, not the die cut. So just to be fair, so rose and leaves, no dice here. Like, look how professionally it is looking. So now switch to the next one. We've got this beautiful like a nettle shape finish, and then again having them next to the flower, or that could be different flower. I've got this very crinkly one as well, and I think it will be just looking lovely here if you will just add something like that to the flower. So I hope you enjoy. Oh, this one. Oh, this one, we forgot this one. I forgot this one. This one you can basically just kind of create this little pointy effect on them, and they'll be good. Look on that. I forgot about the last leaf, and voila. If we add the rose or something, again, look on this splotchy nice effect, how beautifully they are look like. Every single one is different, and all we really need, and this fun crinkly one as well, this will be a great filler for small flowers. Like, let me just show you them like that, so they looking nice, or any other composition, any other pieces. Like, you've got some foam flowers as well, you can use them up, or slightly larger, obviously, because that's the large flower, or something like that. I've got this little flower here, and you can create foliage dependingly on the size of your flowers. You're no longer limited to the to your dice. You can actually come up with your own leaves. So I hope you enjoy it. I hope this has sparked joy, and please, if you don't mind, please like and share the video. Let your friends know that maybe they'll be interested in it, and I really appreciate all your help and support with growing my YouTube channel. So thank you so very much, my lovely friends. That will be me for today, and I'm wishing you a fabulous day. Stay blessed, and bye bye.